Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Sage on Ascent. Today's day 84 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Sage is one of the faces of Valorant. She's really fun to play, but sadly she's not that great of a sentinel. For me, she feels more like a duelist at times, even though she has a lot of sentinel util. And she also lacks a lot in like the sentinel department because she has no traps at all, and her wall only holds for a certain amount of time. Her slows can be used pretty well to stop a push, but in general, Sage's kit is not really that great at being ascent. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense, when you have an Omen or just any smokes agent on your team, you can ask for a one-way right here and make it almost impossible for the enemies to go out by throwing a slower right here in the beginning of the round. This makes it so if anyone walks into the main area and walks into the one way, you have even more time to shoot them, and it's going to be really hard for them to get a kill onto you. And as long as you just keep refreshing the smoke, it should be pretty easy. As soon as you hear the steps, you throw another slow orb and just wait for the enemies to try to walk in. Then for walls, you can do a couple of different walls. One I really like, it is kind of an aggressive wall, but not really. It is this one right here. You leave a couple of gaps in this wall. First one being this one right here. It also allows you to hold close here. If you place the wall a little more to the right, you can even walk through it and peek the people that are trying to take the ult orb. But this wall in general is just a wall that makes it pretty hard for the enemies to get in. Even though they just have to break one tile. Even if they break, for example, this tile, you can still hide here close in a smoke and wait for the enemies to walk in and get a couple of kills. Or if you hear somebody trying to knife the wall, you can get close here and spam through this wall and do a lot of damage to the enemies that are playing close. Then the other wall, a wall a lot of you probably have already seen, it's this one right here. You can play on top of it. It also allows you to go up here. It also allows you to play close here, hidden. And it is in general a wall you can use almost every round if you hear the people that are coming towards A. It allows you to play in a lot of different spots and makes it really hard for the enemies to clear it out. A thing I recommend if you have a wall like this one is that you have another teammate that is trying to shoot the Sova drone or just any recon util, so you're not gonna get caught out by the enemies, and it makes it possible for you to play really good off angles for the enemies, which they don't expect. Another thing you can do when this wall breaks or when they broke a tile, you can just keep refreshing slow orbs for the enemies as soon as they are trying to come in. As soon as they are like using util, you can just go back here, throw a slow orb like this. Just in general, throw a slow orb to stop a push in main, and then peek out. And don't throw both slow orbs right away. You can just throw one slow orb, wait for some time, peek out, maybe try to get some kills, and just hold the enemies from coming in. Then the slow orb is gonna fade, and then you can throw the second slow orb. It makes it pretty hard for the enemies to go in, and it is also pretty annoying. Other walls you can also do is one like this. With this wall, you can play close here. As soon as they break this part, you can either go inside of the wall and spray them, or even if you hear somebody, for example, knifing this wall, and you know the wall is about to break, you can stand here close with a phantom even, and as soon as the wall is really close to breaking, you can just spray and walk through and do a lot of damage on the enemies and even maybe get a kill. This is a thing you can do with almost every Sage wall, and it is a pretty effective thing as well. Switching over to a short. On short, you can do a wall like this one. You can get on top of the wall, peek out if you want, even go over to the other side to hide on this part. If they're trying to break the wall, you can peek down and get a kill on them. Same thing can also be done if you're just going down here. You can then jump over and try to get a kill on the people. You just have to be pretty precise with your jump, and it is also kind of a risky thing. You can even make this wall a little to the side like this. This makes it so they, if they break this part of the wall, you still have a pretty narrow angle for them to come in, and you can just hold this angle right here and have a free time killing them. And it also gives you a space to play in front of the wall sometimes. If you always throw this wall, you can play in front of it. If they are trying to break this part of the wall, you can then peek out, get kills on the people that are playing close. What this means though is that you are kind of trapped in here, so it makes it pretty hard for you to get out. And then one more wall you can do is this one right here. If they're trying to split over this area right here with a smoke close here, you can hold over the smoke and do a lot of damage to the people that are coming in, or even hold the people that are coming main from a really unexpected angle. If they are only coming main, I wouldn't recommend this wall, but if the enemies are coming through short, you can use this wall to shoot the people that are trying to cross over. And then for retakes, in general, you are going to be second to second last in, and if you can keep your wall, if you haven't used it before, you can use that pretty easily to get the diffuse off by using either a wall like this one and diffusing behind it, or using walls like this one to just block off everything. If you know everyone is in main, it is worth using a wall like this one, because with a wall like this one they have to break a couple of tiles or walk out, and your teammates can just hold the enemies that are trying to walk out and get an angle on you. If you don't have any information, just walling like this should be pretty safe. They still have to break at least one wall piece, and you can get the diffuse in pretty easily. And in general, if you still have your slow orbs for a retake, throw them in towards main or in towards an area where you know the enemies are at, and then throw in some other damaging util, because a slow orb makes it pretty hard for the enemies to get out. Switching over towards mid. On mid you have a couple of options. You can use a wall like this one, get on top of it and peek the people that are playing close here. Even peek the people that are trying to come top mid. You can maybe see them sometimes. There is a wall where you can actually see the people pretty well on top mid, but if you just have the information there's somebody top mid, you can just spam right here, even chomp spot like this to see if somebody's top mid. And what this wall also allows you to do is peek over there, jump down, and then jump up here on top of the wall again to peek the enemies from a really unexpected angle. And now to the wall where you can actually see the people in top mid. You have to aim it at around this part right here and place the wall. Like this, you can see over top mid, and you can see the enemies that are playing top mid pretty easily. And you can also get damage off of them if you have an ult, for example, which is a pretty good peek. It is going to be a pretty hard shot to hit, but it is a pretty good one. Now switching over towards B. B is pretty similar. A thing you can do in main to stop the enemies from coming in right away is a slow orb like this. It makes it pretty hard for them to get through, and it also slows them quite considerably. And you can also throw some damaging util in here to stop the enemies even further. Same thing also with main. Just throw a orb like this, throw a orb like this, or even throw a orb like this to stop the enemies from coming in. And then you can use either a wall like this one, where you can hide on top of it, or you can even cross over and hide behind it. If you place it a little farther over, you can even hide a little better behind it. And it is in general a pretty good wall to use for main. Then another wall you can use is one like this one, where you just wall off like this and leave a gap. What this allows you to is to walk through here and then peek the enemies that are trying to, for example, take the ult orb and do a lot of damage to them. This wall is a pretty risky one because the enemies can just walk past it, but even if they do, you can just throw a slow orb right here and then spam the enemies that are trying to come through. Now over to a wall I've learned from Grim. It is a wall where you can peek into B main. You go on these stairs and then you jump over towards this cube right here. Then you go to this corner, walk back till at least like here. Then you aim at this dot right here, take your wall out, you make your wall straight, and then you jump up a place. And this allows you to get a long wall right here, which allows you to also peek in towards B main and get some kills off of the people that are trying to come in. You can also throw slow orbs like this. You can also have an Odin, by the way. It allows you to bang through this top part wall here. I know they kind of fixed Ascent with the B main spam, but you can still kind of do it with a Sage. If you see anyone waiting here, you can damage them by shooting through this wall right here. Or you can just use a Vandal or a Phantom to shoot the people that are playing close. If you want to see more aggressive walls, I recommend you watch Grim on YouTube. He is probably one of the best Sage mains in the world, and he is also a Radiant player, which means he is a pretty good player in general, and just probably one of the best players on Sage. Switching over towards attack. On attack you can do a couple of things with a Sage. You can firstly, if the enemies decide to push, slow off a main. This is a thing I only recommend if the enemies have a tendency to push and you hear, for example, a dart coming or just something you expect will make them push. Else it just griefs your team because it makes it harder for them to take the A main space because they're going to be slowed off. And then if you go on towards the side, I wouldn't really recommend you use your wall before, unless you have a smoke in main and you want to peek over it. You can use a wall like this one, peek over the smoke, pick off the enemies that are trying, for example, to play in under. You can see the people right here sometimes, and also the people behind Gen. And just in general, they're not going to be ready for you to peek over the smoke, which is a pretty decent thing. But if you want to use your wall on the side, I recommend you either use it after you have closed the door, use it right here. This allows you to play on top of the wall as well, by jumping up here. or just starting on top of the wall and have a great off angle on the people that are coming out of heaven. Or even play close here and wait for the people that are trying to come in towards the door area and trying to break the door. And the other wall, that is one I also recommend, is you can either go up here and use this wall, because it is a pretty strong one. If you go up here, you can make it a little, go over towards this direction, and then walk up here, and hold the people that are coming through the door as well. Or even peek the people that are trying to break the wall close here. Or you can go from down here, jump up, and place your wall like this. This wall is also a pretty good one, and it allows your omen to, for example, TP on top of it. Same thing with a jet updraft. And you can also go close here and hold the people that are trying to come through here, which is a pretty great thing. And then again, just go for a plant and slow the enemies that are trying to come in through either this door, if the door is broken, or through heaven, if people are coming in through heaven, which makes it pretty hard for the enemies to come in. Switching over to its mid now. On mid, you can do a couple of things. Something I like doing is something like this, where I place my wall on top of this box and jump onto towards my wall, and peek the people that are playing in market from up here, which is a pretty good off handle. This wall is also kind of a risky one, but mostly you're gonna get some value out of it. Just don't use it every round. If you use it every round, it gets predictable, and the enemies are gonna have an easier time killing you. Other things you can do in mid is to throw a slow herb in towards market. If you have somebody, for example, going close here, and you know there's somebody probably in market, you can slow off this area and make it really hard for the enemies to escape. Same thing with short as well. If you think somebody's coming short or trying to push out of the smoke in short, use this slow herb there. You can also do the same things, by the way, from here. Either like this or like this. Both are gonna land in short and stop the enemies from pushing out. And if you wanna slower towards market, you can use a slow herb like this. It will land over towards the middle of the area and will stop anyone trying to push. Or you can use a slow herb like this one that goes a little farther behind and makes it harder for the enemies to get out of market or even go back in towards market. Talking about market, you can also decide to wall off this area right here. This is also a pretty good wall, because if you play on top of it, you can see in towards CT and try to peek people off that are trying to come through CT, or you can decide to wall even further behind, either over here or over here, which allows you to even peek over this wall right here and jump over in towards the CT area, but this is a pretty risky thing you can do sometimes. And then if you're trying to take B, you can also just throw a storm in towards CT like this at this wall. It is kind of a slower that can bounce in weird ways if you don't have the right spot, so make sure to throw it either deep and peek out a little further, like for example right here, you clear out close, you clear out here close, and then you go here close and throw a slurp in towards CT. Switching over towards B now. On B there's the classic wall over here where you can look through the windows. You can get that wall pretty consistently by just getting up here and then walking back a little. This allows you to peek in towards market. It also allows you to peek in towards the area backside and side as well. And if you do it right with the drop off, you can even get it to extend 3 tiles, and you can even look in towards CT a little. It is kind of a risky thing. Again, don't do it every round, do it from time to time. And it is going to be really unexpected, and the enemies are going to have a hard time figuring out where you killed them from. And in general, using this wall to entry is a pretty good thing. Then other things, if you are going for an entry, you can also use slower like this and over towards CT to make it hard for the enemies to come out while you are trying to take the site. Or similarly, if you know the enemies, if your team has a killjoy ult, you can throw a storm in towards CT to stop the enemies from getting out, and even spray as soon as they are trying to come out, even if it is smoke. You can do a lot of damage on the enemies because they have to run out, else they're gonna get detained. And then for walls, you have 2 options for walls that are pretty decent to stop the enemies from pushing in. One is right here. You can get on top of the wall. You can also close this door, or you can even get over towards this side, have a great off angle the people that are trying to come out of CT. Or you can do the same thing in CT, either like this, get on top of this ledge, or get on top of this ledge, and hold the people that are trying to come in towards CT. Another wall I've seen sometimes, you can also use this wall, by the way, up here. If you use the same lineup as I've shown you on defense, you can look in towards CT, And you can also look in towards markets. I didn't like do the lineup right here, but you can also see in towards the market area and see if somebody is coming in from there. This wall right here is more risky because you're more open towards CT and market at the same time. So just walling up and then holding CT is probably your best bet, because it is still a pretty uncommon off angle. What you can also do then after is jump on top of this wall right here, on top of these boxes right here, and hold the people from up here. This is a pretty weird off angle. It will net you at least 1 kill most of the times. But it is a pretty bad spot, because if you drop down, you're back here and you're stuck and you can't really get out. For your heal and your ult, there's one general thing. Again, don't be your pocket sage. I know you have people you like in the game. Just heal the teammate that needs it the most. Or if you have 2 people that are hit for the same amount of time, for the same amount of damage, just look at who is performing better and give them the heal. Same thing also with the res. Sometimes it can be worth also resing other people than just your top frag. For example, if you don't have any smokes and your smokes player has died, you can rest them. Or if somebody has, for example, a really important ult, you just go to the leaderboard, check out if somebody has their ult ready, you think is worth using in this round and can help you win the round, then you can go for an ult. Or another thing you can do with your ult is also to rest for economy. So if you have not a lot of money and you have a teammate that has a vandal that can save that into the next round, you can rest them. It is a thing you can do, you don't have to do it, but it is a thing that is done in higher elo lobbies to get more value out of a res. Because getting a res off is a pretty 50-50 thing. Sometimes you have a really good position where you can just res somebody, but other than that, resing is a pretty is a thing that is kind of dependent on situations. If somebody dies in a pretty safe place, you can just res them. If somebody dies in a pretty open place, you can use your wall. Or have your teams holding that person that is trying to peek out, and just make sure you don't really bait your teammates while you rest, unless you calmed them to them before, because they're gonna get mad at you. If I had to give Sage a rating from S to F, I'd actually give her the B tier. She is a pretty decent sentinel. She's not really that good at giving out passive map information, and a map like Ascent is a map where you kind of need to have that passive map information. If you decide to play 2 sentinels with a Sage together, it is a pretty strong combination, because Sage can hold one side and the other sentinel can hold the other side and map information. And Sage has a lot of things she can do with her walls. Some I haven't shown in the video because I can't really do them. But if you really want to main Sage, I recommend you find all the different walls you can do by going into custom games, watching other players play the game, or seeing if you see on TikTok some really cool Sage walls. That would be it from me. If you want to see any other agents on any other maps, write it down in the comments. And if you want to see anything else Valorant related, write it down there as well. And as always, don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!